Welcome everybody to day one of the summer refresh retreat. So I'm super excited to be sharing 5 days worth of video inspiration for you all week. And today we're going to be starting off with day one, which is all around getting it out. And we're going to talk about brain dumps. We're going to talk about reconnecting to your vision and your goals for the next 90 days. So you can get really clear on where you want to be 90 days from now, and to make sure that just getting clear will really help make that actually happen. So you may have had a goal in the past where you wish you would get to it one day and it never happens. And oftentimes that kind of barrier or delay in actually having your goals come to fruition comes down to the basics right at the beginning when you aren't clear on what it is that you're trying to create. And also things can get in the way. So if you want to start to create something or have a bigger impact or make a bigger splash, like we're going to talk about on day 4, and really show up as your massively inspirational leadership self, or you have people on your organizations and your teams that can use this, if they're really not living up to their potential, or if you feel like you've got that big vision as your visionary leader, but you never have the time, space, or energy to implement it, then this is the resource for you. This whole retreat, this refresh retreat, will help you get that creative space and fill up your energy gas tank so that you will have that energy, that vision, that inspiration, and the space to be able to actually step into your fullest self. And that's part of what I share in my Exhale and Thrive coaching, where I coach executive leaders, visionary high achievers across the globe. Specifically, though, I specialize in either not-for-profit or government employees here in Canada, but I've served people in Europe and Australia and the United States and other places as well. So I really hope that you can enjoy this retreat. We're going to kind of look at it in 2 parts. We're going to look at it the professional side, your leadership self, but also your personal side as well, because one feeds the other. We can't really divide and separate, even if we wish to. The more energy and space and positivity we have in our personal life will impact how we show up in our professional life. And same thing, if we have stress in our work life, for example, that will impact how we show up in our personal life. So I am going to be talking about both sides of the picture throughout this retreat. So if you want to hear more, stick around, and I'm going to talk to you today about day 1. It's all going to be around brain dumping, visualizing, and identifying your top 10 goals, or whatever they're going to be for the next 90 days. So I'd originally talked about providing worksheets with this workshop or this retreat, but I've actually found that journaling or writing things out on just plain sheets of paper might be the best way to go. So what I recommend you do for this first step, so step 1 of day 1, is going to be doing a brain dump. If you've never done this before, the whole idea is you write everything that's been on your mind down on paper. So I don't have mine handy here for you. I don't think I grabbed it. But you can imagine here. So I like just doing it on a plain piece of white paper. So there's room to just write whatever. I'm not structured by lines, that kind of thing. And so I'd actually write, what I did for mine is professional at the top. And then I tend to kind of divide it in 4 quadrants. You know, there might be 4 different areas that I'm really focusing on right now. One of them for work is my director role, and so I actually have a quadrant for that. One of my work pieces, professional pieces, is my coaching business, and then also my day job with the federal government. I give some sections for those as well. And so really, it's what you want to do is to create time to put this all down on paper. So as we're moving forward into this week, I encourage you to commit to spending 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour a day, whatever feels good for you. Oh, sorry, the focus on the camera got screwed up with that picture, the paper. But basically what you can do then is really then create some space through the week. So as we're looking into this first step, the brain dumping step, I would recommend you doing 2 pieces of paper. One is going to be the professional one, and the other one's going to be all the thoughts on your personal life. So yeah, so you're going to have a professional and a personal life brain dump. And so I find I can get probably 80% of the stuff that's been on my mind out on paper within the first 5-10 minutes. It's there. You've been thinking about it. You've been holding on to it a lot. And so just let it all out. whether maybe you want to do a mind map version instead, where it's more free form instead of like quadrants. It really is up to you. There you could put like professional circle in the middle of the paper, and then just kind of branch off all these different topics that come up as they come up. It's a little more free form. I find that's helpful when you feel like chaotic and your mind isn't even in an organized category area. That can really help. So take time, 5-10 minutes to get all of your thoughts out on paper. And then I find after I've done that, that actually frees up some space. It's like it gets that, it's like if there's like a waiting line in a grocery store, you've got all of those things in the backed up line out of your brain and onto paper. And then there's room for those things that have needed to be addressed, but have been kind of behind all that stuff in your mind, that can start come forward as well. And so I find over probably the next week after I've done a brain dump, I have a few other things pop up here and there, maybe on the weekend, out visiting family or going for a walk or driving or wherever, maybe in the middle of the night, sometimes these things pop up as well. So I encourage you to not just do it and finish, but actually kind of leave it as an open living document. Sometimes I actually do these in my planners at the back pages so that I have a reference, because not all of these things are going to be dealt with immediately, but then you don't have to hold them in your head anymore. This alone will make massive room for space, clarity, and prioritization within your tasks. So if you have specific projects within your different teams, you can think about what you're going to be doing with this team, or those things that you need to follow up with your staff that you've delegated. Maybe it is a project that you've been wanting to work on that you haven't got to, and there's 10 steps that you need to do with that, and you want to get that on paper. Maybe it's something in your personal life that you have been meaning to get around to a couple personal min items, or there's some house projects, or whatever these things are that stick up in your mind. Maybe you want to try a new recipe. Maybe you want to start exercising more. All of those different kinds of thoughts of these things that you want to do, or kind of almost so either a to-do list, or I'd also look at it like a wish list, these things that you would like to be doing. So that would be the first step. The second step is really more around not the stuff that's on your plate right now or on your mind, but those sort of looking forward visualization pieces. So if you imagine yourself 90 days from now, so 3 months from today, what would you like to be celebrating and accomplishing? And so you may want to tap first into your priorities and your values and what's important. And I'll actually share a little bit of an aha I had this weekend. We just came back from visiting with family. Lovely visit, and had a wonderful time. And I just had a moment to think that really just kind of clarified to me, as I was kind of preparing for this event this whole week. I'm doing my own personal retreat as I'm sharing it with you. And so I'm going through my own kind of journey with it. I've been preparing and starting and thinking about it for weeks. And so I think that's part of where this came from. But I really had this aha moment to realize that, what, as much as I'm looking at career progression and growing my coaching business and serving clients in the world and helping them do amazing things, by helping them get out of overwhelm and into overflow, right? To, really having that kind of positive impact in the world. What I realized though, and I know this, it's not new, for me, the relationships with family are probably the most important around, as well as relationships with myself, right? My own self-care, my health and well-being, but also that of my family, my loved ones. And so it really just kind of clicked in a little bit deeper in a different way than it had before, that's really more important than any of the rest. If I had to pick just one thing to focus on, my one thing has been mindset. It's been mindset for a long time, because I find if my mindset is strong, I can manage anything else in my life way differently than if I prioritize something else. But it kind of just said, hey, wait a second, cherish these moments together, appreciate the time together. And I have been for years, but it just kind of went on a deeper level. And so for me, I actually took my looking at my vision and looking at my next 90 days and thought of it in that lens. Okay, it's a little bit different. And so for you, I encourage you to take a minute as well to say, what's truly important to you right now in this stage of your life and why? And maybe kind of dig a little deeper, maybe ask a few whys, but why is that part important to you? And so I really just wanted to make sure that I am really taking the opportunity to really connect and have authentic relationships and to really be there and supportive, And so I think I'm going to just mull on that and let that kind of grow over the next 90 days, really to see how I want to integrate that a little bit deeper. So we're going to work in kind of tens this week. So what I would encourage you to do is write out all the stuff, your brain dump piece, and then maybe write out 10 different goals or areas of focus that you want to have for the next 90 days. And that may seem like a lot, but I found for myself personally, once I kind of was looking at those different quadrants of my life, each one kind of had a priority. Each kind of area had something that I wanted to focus on. So give you a bit of an idea. I want to have some special visits and time with family beyond what we already do. That's one of them. That came out as the top thing from what I was sharing with you. Then I want to be serving 5 to 8 new clients in my one-to-one coaching this next few months. And so I'm really excited about that. Another thing is I want to had some clarity on what things I want to do in the coaching business and what kind of ideas I want to share with you all over the next few months. Master classes, maybe some training on diversity, a variety of different things. Also had some personal health things that I'm looking at, working on improving my overall health and fitness, changing up my exercise routine. So I find that transition from summer to fall, there's a big change in activities, right? The day hours of daylight changes, the heat temperature changes. Lately, through the summer for a while there, I was walking my dog at 5 a.m. as the sun was coming up, and it was glorious. And I tried to do that this last couple of weeks and it was dark already. And so what I think I need to do is start to switch my walking to lunch hours like I do normally in the fall and winter. So just kind of looking at those types of things, the small kind of tweaks as the season changes. Additionally, some areas in my house and my office. One of the things I'm working on right now is decluttering my filing cabinet area. That's going to be on day 2. We'll talk about that tomorrow. Also working on my personal wealth management and improving those areas, looking at some professional development and work and in my coaching business areas, and then really wanting to stay tied into my inspired ease, my theme for 2022, and how, I can create that. So for me, inspired ease really comes to working with my energy, first of all. So I had the idea for this refresh retreat, but then I knew that I needed time to kind of get it from idea into reality. And I wanted to align it with when I was going to feel more energized and extroverted like I do this week. So I deliberately picked a week that would align with that. And if you're interested in learning more about that, let me know in the comments below or reply to the email. Let me know. I'd love to share with you about the cycles of energy and how to maximize that and how to work with that. So I'm super excited. As you can tell, it's a fun topic. So the staying aligned with inspired ease is something that I want to keep tied into as I'm looking at my goals and I'm looking at how I want to move forward over the next 90 days. So that's really all I wanted to share with you today, is the kind of initial journey of getting started and reconnecting to what's important and getting all of that mess, that jumble, that noise out of your mind as well. So I encourage you to take some time between now and the next day. I'll share with you another training tomorrow, another inspiration refresh video for our summer retreat. And we're going to talk tomorrow about really about letting everything go. So we've kind of done a bit of a brain dump. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about what you're tolerating and looking at some of maybe 1 to 3 areas you want to really focus on this week to really kind of get some of that stuff out of the way. So I imagine it like, if you have a gas tank, these things that we're dealing with are like they're draining you. And so if we can plug some of those holes or address those drains, then you're going to have that much more energy to start. So I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. So just to recap today, though, I encourage you to do your brain dump, get everything out of your mind, get it on paper, and then prioritize it. Perhaps maybe you want to I pick kind of 1 in each area that I want to focus on right away and really make effort to get those taken care of. Then I will encourage you to tap into what's important to you, what your values are, your vision is for the next 90 days, and then get it into about 5 to 10 goals for the next 90 days. And 10 is a lot. I recognize that. But for me, when I was looking at all the different areas of my professional, business, day job, training, all of those kinds of things, combined with my personal health and wellness and all of those, it kind of came to 10, and that felt like a good number for me. So I encourage you to do the same. Maybe you want to focus only on 2 areas, one personal and one professional. And that's what I kind of tend to, encourage people to do. But the number 10 is coming up this week for me, so I'll encourage you to do that as well. Sometimes it's good to focus on one specific thing. Other times it's good to do sort of an upgrade everywhere. And that's what I'm being inspired to do this season. So I invite you all to do the same. Look at kind of all areas of your life here, professional and personal, and see how you can up level in a variety of areas and pick the ones that are most important to you and that will make the most impact. We don't have to do everything all right now. Trust they'll get done when their time is right. And really make sure that you are aligned to what's most important to you and then prioritize from there. That's the secret. It's easy to get overwhelmed when we just look at all the stuff. But once we prioritize it, I even put numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and actually then do it in that order. What's my number 1 priority, number 2 priority, number 3? If you can't get to number 5 priority, it doesn't matter. You got 3 done and you're winning. So keep that in mind as well, is, just because we're getting a lot of stuff out on paper doesn't mean now is the time to do it all. But trust yourself and pick the things that are most aligned or most exciting or most fun or whatever's providing you the most discomfort, and really focus on those first. So thank you for joining in. I hope you found this an inspiring video. It's super fun to share. I'm going through this journey on my own already. It's part of what I teach people when I do my coaching and trainings. And so it's fun to kind of share it all with you in a new way. Every time it's different. I've been teaching this for years, a different sort of format every year, but it's the same kind of process overall. So join us tomorrow, where we're going to talk about letting it all go. And I will see you in the next video. Talk to you soon. Bye.